Imagine a year, 2004. A young man sits in a cramped dorm room at Harvard University. He's wearing a hoodie. He's building a website. Not for money, not for fame. He's building it because he thinks connecting people is a cool idea. His name is Mark Zuckerberg, and the website is the Facebook now. Imagine the same year, a few miles away, in a different part of the same city, another young man is staring at a screen. He's not in a dorm. He's in an office. He's already a millionaire. His name is Sean Parker. He created Napster. He practically invented digital rebellion. And he's just heard about this Facebook thing. 2 billionaires, 2 different worlds, 1 collision course. You see, most people think billionaire feuds are just playground fights with bigger toys. A tweet here, a lawsuit there, a mean comment about someone's spaceship. But that's not the real story. The real story is much darker, much bigger. These aren't personal vendettas. They are proxy wars for the future. Every time 2 of them clash, it's not about ego. It's about who gets to control the next decade of your life. And the war didn't start in 2004. It started long before that, with a man who hated losing more than he loved winning. De que cidade você está assistindo? Escreve nos comentários. E se você é novo por aqui, se inscreve, dá o like e compartilha esse vídeo. Ajuda muito mais do que você imagina. Fica até o final, porque o último capítulo revela a briga que ninguém está falando, a que pode decidir quem controla a inteligência artificial do futuro. Pode ser o mais honesto de todos. Let's rewind to the beginning. The first shot in this Cold War wasn't fired by Musk, or Zuckerberg, or Bezos. It was fired by a man named Bill Gates. In the 1980s, Gates built Microsoft into a monster. He didn't just sell software. He sold the operating system. The thing your computer needs to even turn on. Every computer, every business, every government. Microsoft was the landlord of the digital world. And Gates had a philosophy. It was simple. If you're not the only player in the room, you haven't won. He crushed competitors with a smile. He licensed Windows to IBM. Then he turned around and sold it to their rivals. He didn't care about loyalty. He cared about control. And for a while, it worked. He became the richest man on earth. But then, something happened. A crack appeared in the empire. A company called Apple, run by a man named Steve Jobs. Jobs was the opposite of Gates. Gates was a tactician. Jobs was an artist. Gates wanted to own the pipes. Jobs wanted to own the experience. In 1997, Apple was dying. They were 90 days from bankruptcy. And Gates could have let them die. He could have watched his biggest rival disappear into the history books. Instead, he invested $150 million in Apple. He saved them. Why? Because the US government was watching. Microsoft was being investigated for monopolistic practices. Gates needed a competitor to exist, just to prove the market was competitive. So he kept Apple alive, like a farmer keeping a sick cow in the barn, just to avoid the slaughterhouse inspection. That decision, that single, calculated move, it would haunt him for the rest of his life. Because Steve Jobs didn't stay sick. He got better. And he got angry. In 2001, Jobs launched the iPod, then the iPhone, then the iPad. Apple didn't just compete with Microsoft. It made Microsoft look old. It made Windows look like a tool for accountants. Apple became the most valuable company in the world. And Gates watched from his mansion, knowing he had created his own worst enemy. The feud between Gates and Jobs wasn't about money. They both had more than they could spend. It was about legacy. Gates wanted to be remembered as the man who put a computer in every home. Jobs wanted to be remembered as the man who made those computers beautiful. And those 2 visions cannot coexist. One of them has to be wrong. Jobs once said, Bill Gates is a businessman. He'd be a broader guy if he had dropped acid once. Gates once said, Steve Jobs was a weirdo. A genius, but a weirdo. They were both right. And that's what made the war so brutal. But here's the thing about billionaires. They don't stay mad forever. They just find new people to be mad at. And by the time Gates and Jobs had finished their dance, a new generation was already sharpening their knives. Enter Jeff Bezos, 1994. He's driving across the country with his wife. He's typing a business plan on a laptop. The plan is simple. Sell books online. But Bezos didn't want to just sell books. He wanted to sell everything. He wanted to own the entire infrastructure of commerce, the warehouses, the delivery trucks, the cloud servers, the data. Bezos built Amazon like a fortress. He didn't care about friends. He cared about efficiency. And he had a temper, a cold, silent, terrifying temper. If you crossed him, you were gone. No second chances, no farewell party. And then, in 2000, Bezos met a man who would become his eternal rival, a man named Elon Musk. Musk had just sold PayPal for $1.5 billion. He was rich, but he wasn't satisfied. He wanted to go to Mars, so he started SpaceX, and he wanted to sell electric cars, so he invested in Tesla. Bezos looked at Musk and saw a threat, not because Musk was smarter, but because Musk was bolder. Musk was willing to lose everything on a single bet. Bezos was willing to lose everything on a single spreadsheet. They were two sides of the same coin, and they hated each other immediately. The feud started small, a tweet here, a patent lawsuit there, but it escalated. Bezos founded Blue Origin, a space company, to compete with SpaceX. He hired the best engineers. He poured billions into it. And Musk laughed at him, publicly, repeatedly. Musk said Blue Origin was a copycat. He said Bezos was a fanboy. He said if you can't get to orbit, you're not a space company. And he was right. Blue Origin took years to launch a single rocket. SpaceX was landing rockets on drone ships. The gap was embarrassing. But Bezos didn't give up. He doubled down. He kept pouring money into Blue Origin. He kept suing NASA over contracts that SpaceX had won. He wasn't trying to win in space. He was trying to make Musk lose. And that's a very different thing. This is the pattern. Every billionaire feud follows the same arc. First, admiration. Then, competition. Then, resentment. Then, war. And the war between Bezos and Musk is not just about rockets. It's about the future of the internet. Bezos owns Amazon Web Services, the cloud that powers half the internet. Musk owns Starlink, the satellite network that could replace the internet. If Musk wins, Bezos loses control of the infrastructure he spent 20 years building. If Bezos wins, Musk's dream of a Mars colony dies on the launch pad. Two billionaires, one future, zero compromise. But just when you think you understand the game, a new player enters, and he changes everything. His name is Mark Zuckerberg, and he doesn't care about rockets. He cares about people. Or rather, he cares about controlling them. In 2012, Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion. Everyone thought it was a stupid price. A photo app, really. But Zuckerberg saw something no one else did. He saw that the future of the internet was not search, it was social. And he wanted to own it all. Zuckerberg's strategy was simple. Buy every competitor before they become a threat. Instagram, WhatsApp, Oculus. Every acquisition was a defensive move. He wasn't building a better product. He was eliminating the possibility of a better product. And that's when he made a mistake. A big one. He tried to buy Spat, the company behind those disappearing messages. The CEO, Evan Spiegel, said no. Not once, not twice, 3 times. Zuckerberg was not used to hearing no. He got angry. He got petty. He launched a Snapchat clone called Pokey. It failed. He launched another one called Slingshot. It failed. He launched another one called Instagram Stories, and that one worked. It crushed Snapchat's growth. Spiegel watched his company bleed users. He watched his valuation drop, and he knew exactly who was responsible. A man in a hoodie, sitting in a glass office in Menlo Park. This was not a business rivalry. This was a personal vendetta, disguised as product strategy. And it gets worse, because Zuckerberg didn't stop at Snapchat. He went after Twitter. He launched Threads. He went after TikTok. He launched Reels. He went after YouTube. He launched Facebook Watch. Every time a new platform appeared, Zuckerberg copied it. Not to innovate, to suffocate. He became the most hated man in Silicon Valley, not because he was evil, but because he was efficient. And efficiency, in the hands of a billionaire, is terrifying. So now we have 3 wars: Gates versus Jobs, Bezos versus Musk, Zuckerberg versus everyone. But the real war, the one that will define the next 20 years, it hasn't even started yet. It's brewing, quietly, in boardrooms and server farms and research labs. And in the next chapter, we're going to look at the fight that nobody is talking about. The fight for artificial intelligence. The fight that will decide if we are the last generation to control our own lives. Let's set a scene. It's 2015. A small, windowless room in a nondescript office building in London. A man named Demis Hassabis is sitting across from a group of investors. He's a neuroscientist, a former child chess prodigy, and he's about to change the world. He tells the investors, "We are building a machine that can think, not calculate, think. And when it's finished, everything changes." The investors nod. They write checks, but they don't really understand what they just funded. Because the machine Hassabis is building is not just another software company. It's DeepMind. And DeepMind will become the most valuable piece of technology on Earth. Now, fast forward 2 years, 2017. DeepMind's AI, AlphaGo, beats the world champion at Go. A board game so complex that experts said a computer would never master it. The victory was not just a win, it was a massacre. The AI made moves that no human had ever considered. It invented new strategies. It played like a god. And 3 men were watching very, very closely. The first was Larry Page, co-founder of Google. Page had been obsessed with AI since the 90s. He believed that building a perfect search engine was just the first step. The real goal was to build a perfect mind. So when Google bought DeepMind in 2014 for $500 million, Page didn't see it as an acquisition. He saw it as a coronation. Google would own the future of intelligence. The second man watching was Elon Musk. Musk had been an early investor in DeepMind. He had a seat at the table, but he didn't trust Larry Page. He thought Page was naive, dangerous. Musk believed that if Google built a superintelligence without safeguards, it would destroy humanity, not on purpose, just by accident, like a toddler playing with a nuclear reactor. The third man was Sam Altman, young, ambitious, the president of Y Combinator, the most powerful startup accelerator in the world. Altman saw the same thing Musk saw, a race to build something that could not be controlled. And he knew that if Google won, everyone else lost. So in 2015, Musk and Altman did something radical. They founded OpenAI, a nonprofit, a counterweight to Google. Their mission: build AI safely, transparently, for the benefit of all humanity. Sounds noble, right? Here's the irony. The feud between Musk and Altman didn't start because of a disagreement about safety. It started because of ego, because of control, because 2 billionaires cannot share a sandbox. Musk poured $45 million into OpenAI. He hired the best researchers. He gave them a mandate: beat Google. But then, things got complicated. OpenAI needed more money, a lot more. Musk proposed merging OpenAI with Tesla. He wanted to run it himself. He wanted to be the one holding the leash. Altman said no. He didn't trust Musk's judgment. He thought Musk was too impulsive, too unpredictable, too willing to burn everything down for a headline. So Musk walked away. He pulled his funding. He left OpenAI to die. But it didn't die. Altman found another investor, Microsoft, Bill Gates' company. Gates, who had been watching this whole drama from the sidelines, saw an opportunity. He couldn't beat Google in search. He couldn't beat Google in cloud. But he could own the AI that would replace both. So Microsoft invested billions into OpenAI, and Altman took the money. That's when the war truly began. Musk watched from the outside as OpenAI, his creation, became a for-profit company. He watched as it partnered with his rival, Microsoft. He watched as it released GPT-3, then GPT-4, then ChatGPT. He watched as it became the most talked about technology since the iPhone. And he was not in the room. So Musk did what Musk always does. He attacked. He tweeted insults. He called OpenAI a closed source, maximum profit company. He accused Altman of betraying the original mission. He launched his own AI company, XAI, to compete. He poured his own billions into it. He hired his own researchers. He built his own models. But here's the problem. Musk is late. OpenAI has a 2-year head start. Microsoft has infinite money. Google has DeepMind. And Musk is standing in the middle of a battlefield with a single gun, facing two armies. This is not a fight he can win with tweets. This is a fight he can only win if he outsmarts everyone. And that's exactly what he's trying to do. But wait, the war doesn't stop there. Because, while Musk and Altman are fighting over the future of AI, a fourth player has entered the game. A player who doesn't care about safety or transparency. A player who only cares about one thing: power. His name is Mark Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg has been quiet about AI for years. He dabbled in it. He built a personal assistant called Jarvis. He talked about the metaverse, but he wasn't taken seriously. He was the social media guy, the data collector, the guy who couldn't build a hardware product that didn't flop. But in 2023, Zuckerberg made a move that changed everything. He released Llama, an open-source AI model, free for anyone to use, modify, distribute. Why? Why would he give away something that cost hundreds of millions of dollars to build? Because Zuckerberg understood something that Musk and Altman didn't. The winner of the AI war is not the one who builds the smartest model. The winner is the one who builds the most popular platform, the one that everyone uses, the one that becomes the default. By making Llama open source, Zuckerberg is not trying to beat OpenAI. He's trying to make OpenAI irrelevant. If 1,000 companies build on Llama, if 1 million developers fine-tune it, if it becomes the Linux of AI, then OpenAI becomes just another app, and Meta becomes the infrastructure. This is the same playbook Zuckerberg used to beat the same playbook he used to beat Twitter. Copy, distribute, suffocate, and now he's doing it to the entire AI industry. So let's zoom out. Look at the board. We have 4 billionaires, each controlling a piece of the future. Larry Page owns DeepMind, the most advanced AI research lab on Earth. He's playing the long game. He's not rushing to release products. He's building the foundation. Sam Altman owns OpenAI, the most famous AI company in the world. He's playing the short game. He's releasing products every 6 months. He's capturing the market. Elon Musk owns xAI. He's playing the revenge game. He's trying to prove he was right all along. He's trying to take back what he lost. Mark Zuckerberg owns Meta. He's playing the platform game. He's trying to make everyone else's AI obsolete by owning the pipes. For billionaires, for strategies, one winner. And here's the part that keeps me up at night. The part that nobody is talking about. The actual technology, the models, the data, the compute power. It's all in the hands of less than 10 people. If they decide to stop sharing, if they decide to lock the doors, if they decide to build a wall around their intelligence, the rest of the world becomes a consumer, not a creator. We are building a world where the most important resource is not oil, not gold, not land. It's intelligence, artificial intelligence, and a handful of billionaires are fighting over who gets to own it. So what does this mean for you? It means that every time you use ChatGPT, you're choosing a side. Every time you post on Instagram, you're feeding a model. Every time you buy a Tesla, you're funding a war. You are not a spectator. You are a resource. Your data, your attention, your money. It all fuels the machine. And the machine doesn't care about you. It cares about winning. Proximo Video, The Dark Side of Sam Altman. The story of a man who built the most powerful tool in history. And the secrets he doesn't want you to know. If you don't want to miss it, say inscrive sai. Essa semana. See you in the next one.